Alright, we're back for a pretty simple video. I have a power outage coming up and I have a diesel heater I'm going to want to run during the power outage that takes an Anderson plug, and I've run out of Anderson plugs with connectors. Rather than pay 40 bucks for something with 12 gauge wire on it, I decided to make something with 4 gauge wire. That's the explanation I'm giving, because I could only find ones with crimp terminals to fit that. Although I probably won't be crimping them. I'll be doing something else. But anyway, let's put all this together. Okay, so we've got some of our 8 gauge wire here and some other things. You can probably guess what we're prepping for here. Oh, this has got some strong connectors on it, or rather some strong insulation. Wow. I wonder if my cable strippers might allow us to do any better with this. This stuff might not even fit in here. Let's have a crack. There we go. Okay, there's a bit of copper in this. So the average person might just put this in the crimpers and crimp it. And I probably do have some big mechanical crimpers somewhere. But this is going to be in a wet area. So I'm going to do something a little less orthodox that often triggers the internet. Okay, so I'm going to have a visitor soon. Where's the end of my cable? So, Blue Tack, this is a Bostik product named BLUTAC. And these terminals have been in storage a while, so we're going to just squish a little bit of flux paste in here to help the ball get rolling. And we're going to get things, I might just help spread that flux paste around a little bit on the end of this as well. Now, let's see how we go. Usually people get wildly upset when I do what I'm about to do. But let's see. Blue Tack, I have used this for casting metal and all sorts of other stuff. I found it holds up even to molten brass. It's actually surprisingly useful. It softens, of course. But yeah. Normally I would fill this till I started to see flux at the top. The obvious issue we have with this is going to consume a lot more space in here than smaller diameter cables would, so we're going to do this. Didn't quite fill it up enough, so what we're going to do is we're going to add more. So I did sort of underestimate a little bit the diameter of this, so let's try another go. Hopefully I don't have to start this again. Come on. I don't like running sideways. Alright. Here we go. I think we're pretty good. Alright. Let's do the other one. This one's got a little bit of corrosion, so we're going to chop the end here. These cutters are probably a smidge underrated for this cable. I do have bigger ones somewhere, but I'm being lazy today. Actually, I probably have a coax splicing tool that would probably work really well for this. I do have a sheath cutter somewhere too, but I think I loaned that to my senior engineer at one point and I haven't seen it in a while. I may have to buy another one. I can't be too upset about that, given the number of tools that my senior engineer loaned to me over the years. Probably about due that I sort of met some of that. Here we go. We need a little bit of trim off here. This is going to shower copper bits everywhere. Yep. These are also getting a little blunt. I need some new ones. I probably have a new set actually, because I usually keep several pairs of these on hand. And this might be one of the pair that I have abused previously. Here's one of 3 sets I have in here. These ones have been abused even more, but they might have a sharp bit to the jaw. No, those ones have been heavily used. Let's try another pair. These might be a good pair. Nope, these are not real much better anyway. Alright, that is about right to fit in the connector in here. I'll plonk you in here again. And we're going to go squish with some flux paste. We're going to squish a little bit of flux paste in the end here, and we're going to fill it up. This is flux core solder too, by the way. 6040 tin lead flux core. A lot of people have said, hey, you do good solder joints, how do you get it so good? One of my little secrets is for most of my life I've used flux core solder. For this one a little bit higher than the other one. We need to keep that going. We dip you in and let it all soak in. And there we go. Okay, for the people that go, oh no, there's stuff stuck all over it. Once it cools off, you take more blue tack. This is definitely a case of when two wrongs make a right.
How electricity works. I have to be honest. The U.S.'s electric grid is kind of confusing.
Voice chats you have while you're doing this. So in the case of two wrongs make a right, if you have blue tack on here, use more blue tack. Preferably when cold. There you go. We'll find some heat shrink as well. Now, in lieu of having bigger cutters, I'm going to try these guys. Because I don't want to go out to the shed and grab my big cutters. That works a little better. Okay. Some heat shrink. Not enough to obstruct the entry into the Anderson plug. But we're going to do these two. About there's good. Right. Do the shrinky dink thing. To buy some more stoner torches, a couple of mine have gone MIA in the shed outside. While I've been casting silver, or rather I have failed to cast silver, I've moved on to using silver metal clay. This is about $100 worth of this stuff. It fires well, but you got to be careful about bubbles. Anyway, that's not what we're doing today. We're doing this. So now we need to do connections in here. I guess they're both red at the moment, so we don't really care. That needs to go that way, I believe. We should be able to push in. Yep. It's gone in okay. That one goes in that way. Now we have 4-gauge cable into an Anderson plug. Now we worry about this end, where we worry about these guys. Now, something's probably going to trigger everybody. Red and red when they have a negative and a positive. So we're going to take a negative cable here. We're going to run a hand all the way along it and go to this end. Just so we don't get confused, we're going to mark that before we put the clip on. We're going to swap cables. We're going to pull the shroud off one of these guys. And we're going to connect our cable in here as best we can. This may involve solder and flux as well, which probably means I'm going to nibble my way around the outside of this one. And much like you do with a mains cable, I'm going to use this gajigger. Hopefully my wife doesn't get upset with me using a pair of strippers in here. Let's see if we can slide you under that little bit. Whoa. It's going to be a bit of a tough call, I think. Oh, she's going to go under, but it's going to mush everywhere. So I think solder will probably work here. Will be needed, rather. So, I need a pair of pliers that I've only just managed to find again. Fold these guys over. Form some strain relief. And to then fold these guys over. There are probably correct tools for this, but we're not doing that today. Right, now I'm going to get some heat and some solder into that. Only now realizing I forgot that bit, but I have an idea on how to fix that. We'll get to it in a minute. We're going to solder this bit on so I don't mess it up any further. Should you find yourself in this situation where you've wired things the wrong way around or done something wrong, you can get a screwdriver here and you can push down this little bit inside here as you pull on the back of it. Best done with two people or somebody that's just done it before, and you can usually back the thing out. If I get it in like so, we can back it out. That then allows us to do this, and then we can go and put it back in again, checking carefully for the correct orientation. It also means if you're in the field and you've buggered up or crushed a plug and you can't plug it in, you can swap the pins out of another one. Make 1 out of 2 in the field. Have I got it in the right way? I might have pushed this in upside down. I indeed have pushed it in upside down. We'll be back. It's also possible to reverse them out when you put them in upside down. There we go. Back in. Again, because this was a bit of old stock cable, a bit of flux in there just to help things along a bit. So we can get things nice and hot in here. What I want to do is get that little strap hot enough to take some solder onto it. There we go. Now it's started to bond. This is probably best done with fume extraction. There's my fume extraction. There we go. Pull that down there. That will help a bit. Right, let's let this cool for a few minutes. Now, I'm going to stop at this point and go, yes, I know you're supposed to crimp that little loop down. I get it, I know, and I'm not doing things the right way. But, I don't know, call it opposite day or something. We're doing it differently today. Because I can. And because I've burnt out some of these before. And the last ones I made like this didn't burn out. Although, that doesn't make it right. It just means it is what it is. I want it to bond to that strap. Get hot, please. Take a little bit more of this. Get in there, please. Lots of solder. I needed to actually bond. I do see a lot of cold solder joins in stuff that I do, and yeah, they look well bonded until you give them a bit of a tap and then they just pop off. So these should be quite sturdy now. But yes, not the most ideal way of doing it, but could be worse. I could probably gas a bit of soldering in from the back here too. That might do too. Fortunately with this one, we remembered to put the sleeve on first. Which is a little bit warm, but that just helps the sleeve go on a bit better. Okay, we have clips. Alright, and now you join us at the messy side of the house. Unplug our charger. Now this guy has a plus symbol there and a negative symbol there, and we have an Anderson plug we can connect to the diesel heater, which doesn't have the main controller attached. I do definitely need to clean up out here. That is from the Victron charger. We want a pile of junk to fall over at the back here. This is the Anderson plug for the diesel heater. Hasn't been used since last year. So we're going to plug in to our Anderson plug. Looks like it fires up. What sort of voltage are we looking at? Doesn't tell us yet, but it does fire up, so that means connections are working. So yeah, that's what we want. I guess that'll be thumbnail. We'll do that. Alright, we'll see you in another video. This was a simple one. Hope it was fun.